Hello and welcome to the latest edition of the Business Spotlight series interview. Today, it's my pleasure to host both Barbara Ann McMullan and Ruth Armstrong, co-owners of Ooh and Ah Cookies. Good one for me, not so much. Ooh and Ah Cookies is based in Ballyclare here in Northern Ireland. And look, I'm delighted that you could both join us today. How are you?
Good, thanks. Glad to be here.
Great. Yeah, I'm glad you are too. And now that I know about Ooh and Ah Cookies, I am going to find a way to get my hands on some of them. Like, why don't you share with us who you are, what you do, and how long you've been doing it for?
Okay, so I'm Barbara Ann and this is Ruth. So the Ooh and the Ah. We have been in business together since 2011. Really into the baking industry, but then decided we needed a model that was family friendly, zero waste, basically baked to order. So we created Ooh and Ah in 2015.
2015, after doing the market scene with the previous business, we did the markets, trade shows, agricultural shows, all that sort of stuff. And then we developed this after each of us had kids and grew our own families. So we started this, which is an online cookie company. So we sell just cookies, all baked fresh to order, and everything is baked fresh and shipped out the same day. And we ship all over the UK and the south of Ireland.
Fantastic. That's super. So give me an idea of how many cookies you sort of would send out in a day.
In around, it's probably about, there's 450, 500 orders a day at the minute.
That's phenomenal.
Some of those have 36 cookies in one order. So there's thousands and thousands of cookies leave here every day. So it's
fantastic. So would this be, I guess I'm leading into a question here about who's your ideal customer. Would this be individuals ordering cookies for them and their family, or is this like corporate stuff where they're ordering, like you say, a box of 36 for an office?
No, but most of ours is personal orders for either gifting or for themselves. At different quarters now, we'll definitely have a corporate increase. But that's primarily daily orders are
just like B2C. It's just straight to the customer. So yeah, it's really good for us. Would be our ideal customer, I would say, is 18 to 40. Predominantly female, but definitely doesn't exclude anybody. But that's definitely our
that's our demographic. Anyway, definitely from.
Very good. I feel in both of those, but that's fine. I still eat cookies.
You just drop the heads to the females between that age group, and then you'll get cookies.
Well, I sort of traveled the world in a former life, and I also lived in the States for 3 years. So cookies I've been used to right across the board. So how's the UK market for cookies? It seems to be fantastic if you're getting that sort of orders already.
Yeah, it's really good. We seem to be knocking the doors of the big boys now. Before we were always looking up to the bigger players in the cookie industry in the UK, and now they know who we are, which is phenomenal because we never really ever thought we would get to that stage, but they are now actually paying for our brand, so their name comes before them. So whenever you're getting noticed by the brands that you looked up to before, then it's
a bit of a pinch me that you go, oh
yeah,
it's nice. So
because I think we still believe that we're just still this, like, we're just baking cookies, and and it's just like those big brands are.
We like to wing it, and I think from the outside it looks a lot more like we should have more structure, and we have got better, but there's definitely with business a lot of winging it goes into it 100%.
Wow. So what's been your biggest learning since I guess we'll take it from the 2015 when you launched Ooh and Ah?
Biggest learning was we didn't realize space was a massive
what would you call it?
Inhibitor. Is it like it really? We didn't realize we were working out of a smaller space a few years ago, pumping out a good volume of orders, but didn't realize that the small space was actually being really inefficient, and actually moving into the big space let us grow far greater because we weren't so confined and we were so much more efficient to be able to push out
Yeah.
volumes.
The potential, we can really see the potential, I think,
Yeah.
then with the smaller space. And I would also say biggest learning that you can't do everything yourself. Staff, you need to invest in staff. If you've got the growth there and there's a momentum, you need to go with it, and you can't. I'm saying that now, and we're out here, we just took our hairnets off and we're just but needs must sometimes, absolutely, but you can't do everything yourself, and you need to get help sometimes, and realize that that's a good thing, that you need the help because it's good, because you are growing.
Fantastic.
It's hard to let go of your baby and you give responsibility to other people, but you have to, because you can't do it all, as Ruth says.
Yeah, that's right. You have to learn how to let go. We use a phrase about letting go of your Lego.
Yeah.
So that the others can take over that, and you can delegate and carry on with what you need to be doing as business owners.
Yeah.
So when you were growing up, is this something that you always wanted to do? That's me assuming that you both have known each other while you were growing up and stuff, but maybe tell a wee bit of your story.
We've been friends for years, but neither of us have a designated food background. I have a degree in business management, and always loved to bake as a child with grannies and things. For both of us, but
always had a love of baking, but I think the business head, I did national diploma in lockery, and then I went on to do a degree in environmental health. So I did that for 10 years before, and we worked this and our jobs all at the same time for a long number of years. So yeah, it's funny that it's not been something we kind of grew into, I think, and it's just the love of being a bit creative. Our cookies are not just, we have all our personalized cookies, and we get to create different flavors, and it's just testing that, and it's just you get to be a bit creative and challenge yourself, I think.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And I know cookies go from, I guess, smaller, thicker, like gooey ones, right up to the massive flatter ones. What style are yours, or do you cover the whole spectrum?
We basically cover the whole spectrum, from our Dinky Dunkers, which are our mini cookies with dips, to we have our 12-inch personalized cookies, which they can add dips on and create their own kind of platter version. We have thick ones, we have stuffed ones, we have
cookie pies,
we have cookie trays,
any shape and size, we're here for it. We'll try it all. So
fantastic.
We like to keep regenerating, doing different flavors, different shapes, different styles, just to offer as much to the customer as possible.
Fantastic. So anybody who wants any shape, size, or form of cookie out there, just go to Oo&Ah Cookies. Fantastic. Right. So you mentioned earlier about the sort of size of your premises being nearly like a restricting factor on the growth of the business. Have you faced any other big issues, or was that like one of the biggest issues?
I think, well, as an online business, Royal Mail striking was a huge I want to say bad words.
Yeah.
for that time, being solely online, and we had a backup. We had another courier as a backup, but then we had just entered a Black Friday sale and had all these orders to go out closer to Christmas, and then we lost like a lot of profit line because we had to then switch to a courier and not use the Royal Mail.
Yeah.
It was a very stressful time, because you were out an awful lot. You couldn't pass the extra postage onto the customer, and when we did, then sales went down, because obviously they were having, for us to ship from Northern Ireland to England, to get a courier to do that it's phenomenally, the increase is a lot more than what they're paying now.
Sure.
So that was one like massive part that we were, and we got through it, but it was just that you had to dig deep, and you had to hold out. That
wasn't an awful lot of fun at that time,
I'm sure.
And a lot of people did lose faith in the Royal Mail at the time. So then
online shopping, it did have a negative impact on sales in general as a whole. So it took a wee bit to come back from that, but thankfully we're at the other side and they've settled all their differences and we're all just cruising.
Good.
Like-
Well done, because there's always something that's going to be thrown in the works, isn't there?
Yeah.
And like you said, you've dug deep and you've come through that. So well done, ladies. Keep on going.
I didn't know, at one point we were like, oh, we didn't think we were going to get through it, but you do in business. I think all these things are sent to try you, and you wouldn't be in business if you didn't dig deep and get out the other side. So
it's good to have somebody to buffer off. We took it in turns to cry each day. Who was cried one day, the other one was like, it's gonna be okay, we'll get through it. So
sure. I was going to say, so what did you learn about yourselves during that whole journey? I'm sure there's plenty of learnings in that.
yeah. I think we realized that we are a lot more savvy in business than what we thought we were. Do you know, I think as
more resilient, you'll find a way.
Yeah, I think businesses from Northern Ireland don't give themselves enough credit, because you're putting yourself up against the UK market and you're just always comparing yourself, and you always feel as if this wee drop in the ocean, because even people in England think there's just a slither of water between us, but they think they're worlds apart, and they have no idea that you can get it there very next working day before 1 p.m, but they just don't gather those thoughts. And then we transition that back onto ourselves by going, oh, well, we are just from Northern Ireland and it's okay, but you're not, you're capable of anything, and more so than if you
100%. I think you've pinpointed something that I find with an awful lot of people across Northern Ireland, an awful lot of businesses. They think, oh, we're just Northern Ireland, whereas I think it's always good to look at the other ones in Northern Ireland who have done so successfully, like yourselves are doing in the UK and in the Republic of Ireland, but some of the companies that are homegrown here in Northern Ireland that are touching every across the world, you know. Just phenomenal. And I think we're in this phase of climbing out of that. Oh, it's just us, we Northern Ireland, you know. The world's your oyster.
Yeah, the opportunities are there. It's up to you to go get them.
Yeah, fantastic. So what has been the most surprising aspect of owning your own business?
TikTok.
Okay, tell me a wee bit more about that.
It's a very new, like when you're in business, you know, we've got our own website, we pay for Google ads, we pay for the shopping ads, we pay meta ads with your Facebook, Instagram, all that kind of stuff, and you're monitoring that, and your content and social media is a forefront of your business. But then TikTok evolved, and as a business we had to evolve with it, because we're very social media driven. That's our target market is on that platform, so we had to evolve with that. But it has completely blew our minds, and I think for 2022-23 we were expecting about 30% of sales to come from TikTok, and it ended up at 66% sales came from TikTok. Wow. And that's continuing on that level, if not a wee bit more. It could be like 70-30 now. TikTok sales is insane.
It's crazy.
That's phenomenal.
It's a different buying trend has emerged from TikTok. That
is the future.
Market,
it's the way it's gonna go, and we're lucky that we embraced it at the start, even though it was hard. It was hard to get a hold of and to stick with, because it was so new. All the sellers on there were, you think you had it sussed and you were like, right, okay, we'll do this and this is how you do this, and then the next day they updated everything and changed it and you were back to square one, and it was just a real labor of love. But now, like, TikTok is amazing, and we have account managers in all departments. We've been invited. We went to TikTok headquarters in London in September and got the full tour and meetings with everybody. And
I hope you took them some cookies.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. We left them in the hotel room. We had to fit them in the suitcase, the whole thing, and then we left them.
But that's brilliant to hear. That's so good. So you didn't know you were surfers, but you've just surfed the crest of that wave, and you're still going.
Yeah,
It's
and
insane.
it still blows our mind every single day, the sales that come in there and just the way the sales come, it's just insane. It is definitely, and you still feel as if you're learning because it is evolving still, because it
Yeah.
is still
In the
relatively.
first year of us selling on TikTok, we had to employ 4 more staff just to deal with that demand that it created. So it was
Brilliant. Good problems to have.
Yeah.
all good problems. Yeah.
Great, great. So, who inspires you in business?
I like Brandon McDowell. Be perfect.
Yeah, 100%. There's a girl, Mallows BA as well.
Yeah, Laura Mallows. Yeah.
And then even just see, I love Dragon's Den just
Yeah.
because they're so relatable. Every
Yeah.
person who's on there pitching their business is somebody
It makes me
like
nervous when I
you.
watch it.
It does, because you just put yourself in those, but it's just any business that tries to put themselves out there, I actually admire, because
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
hard graft and it's not easy. And anybody that, like, I just think everybody does well by just putting themselves out there and
Yeah.
trying
I
something that
like
they
the
love.
the being realness that Laura Mallows and Brendan from Be Perfect,
Yeah.
they're real, and you can see that the love they have for their brand and their
Yeah.
business, but also
Yep.
they will not be behind the doors about saying this is not easy. So
Yeah.
yeah, they would be ones that
Yeah.
we would look up to and aspire.
Fantastic. And so you mentioned Dragon's Den there, and lots of people know of the dragons and stuff you got there. Do you have any sort of favorite books that supplement your inspiration, or do you go to different podcasts for motivation?
Don't have time.
Time. Tell you last time I read about.
But there's a few podcasts. I like Stephen Bartlett, the Diary of a CEO, and then I like Dig Mama, Caroline O'Neill's podcast as well, because obviously it's all relatable and it's all mostly Northern Ireland businesses that you may perchance come across easier than some of the UK
Absolutely.
businesses that you can
And
have
you
a
can-
conversation with. You could introduce yourself
Yeah.
and
very much relate to. I
Yeah.
think it's the best bit. It's why you resonate so much with Caroline's podcast, is you go, oh, I know them. I'd love to hear their story, and
Yeah.
so really enjoy that too.
Fantastic. Brilliant. So, what does the future look like for O&A and for yourselves? And what would you see as the main challenges going forward?
Space.
Let's go say, is it bigger premises?
Yeah, space probably. Yeah, we have outgrown here, but we're hanging off by the seat of our pants, even though we have learned before that space does inhibit growth, but we still haven't worked the premises enough,
Yeah.
each room enough, and we can work that, so that's fine. I think for growth wise, we are looking to export further afield, and we have been trialing that a little further, but again,
It's managing the growth. So we've had massive growth in the past couple of years. So it's managing that and making sure that we're still producing the product to the best of our ability that we are happy with, and being able to like maintain the volume, maintain the
quality
and still enjoy it.
service,
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's keeping the QC, the quality control in place while the quantities just exponentially rise.
And want to still enjoy it. You
Yeah.
have to still want to enjoy what you're doing, because if you start just mass producing a product and it just doesn't become enjoyable, then that's not part of who you are and who you built the brand to be either. So that's a massive part for us, that if we enjoy it, then the staff enjoy it, then everything is good fun and good crack and work, and it all goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
It's being authentic to your real self.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Excellent. So, what would you ladies say to anybody thinking of going into business for themselves nowadays?
Don't answer that. No, I thought you were gonna turn around and say, don't do it. No, just be true to yourself and give yourself the credit, whether it's you get 10 sales or you get 100 sales or 1,000 sales. Like, you have to be true to yourself. If you love the product and you believe in the product,
You'll make it
you're-
work.
exactly. And I think that's, you need to have the love of the brand and love of the product, or else,
Don't be scared to take risks.
yeah.
As long as they're
Calculated
calculated
risks, yeah.
and well thought out, don't let a risk put you off. You'll never know if you don't try, and most of the time they turn out okay as long as you've done your research. But yeah, go for it. There's
Yeah, I
as
think,
long as you've thought things through and you've got a love and a drive for it, that's what's going to make it work, is if you put your 100% into it and be prepared to work really, really, really hard all the time and not have very many days off. But yeah.
Fantastic shares. And look, I can see an O and a this behind your head on the wall there. I'm guessing it maybe says something like, we can do this.
Let's
do this.
Let's do this. Okay, super. Great. So if you could wind the clock back to, and it wouldn't be going back that far, to when you're 18, what's the best piece of advice you would give yourself as an 18-year-old?
I wish I'd have done it sooner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when we started, whenever we started having, like whenever we started driving this part of the business, that the cookies, like export, like shipping our products, we were both starting young families, so therefore if we had just took the plunge, there was a drive before that, if I had took the plunge earlier, so it's like probably we're put off by not doing it, not having the confidence in doing it. So therefore, yes, I would have told myself just to do it then, rather than and be now in Spain with your family than
Yeah.
Yeah, we bit more self-belief, we bit more confidence to take that step earlier.
Yeah, but yeah, and I think that's but then also life lessons might have been different.
I know,
I
I'm
mean,
sitting
it's very
going, you
hard.
don't know, because dear knows where we would be if we did this earlier. 'Cause
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm just a believer in everything happens for a reason, and there's a
Yeah.
right time for everything. So
Yeah.
Great. Well, look, Barbara Ann and Ruth, pleasure to have you on today. Really appreciate you investing your time in the Business Spotlight interview, and hopefully some of our community will have learned lots, and more importantly, I hope lots of them get on your website and order some cookies for themselves.
I know, and then you have to drop hints yourself, and then hopefully you'll get some cookies yourself then.
No, I'll go home to the family and say, right, onto that website and put an order in there.
lots of excuses for
Yeah.
cookies.
There's a birthday coming up in our house very soon, so I know our daughter would love something, so we'll organize that. It sounds great. Look, thanks so much again. Really appreciate it, and all the very best going forwards.
Thank you so much.
You.
You're very welcome.